Hello, Happiness Abounder, and welcome back. I'm so excited today to talk to you about a few updates before I get into today's topic, which I think is so important and so relevant to today. So updates first. First things first, if you are not on the Happiness Abound email list, you want to be on it because coming up are some Black Friday bundles. I don't really talk a lot here on the podcast about all of the things that I offer and that I do. I usually say, oh yeah, go take yourhappyscore.com, get your happy score, or I'll mention like the book club or the free Facebook group. Occasionally I'll mention that I do one-on-one mentoring. But there is a whole ecosystem, if you will, of courses and services and things that I offer to help you be happier. And for Black Friday, the week of Black Friday, not just Black Friday, the actual day, but starting on the Monday before, I will be offering some very awesome, if I do say so myself, bundle deals, saving you a lot of money and getting a lot of the resources to help you towards your happiness. So if you are not on the Happiness Abound email list, you want to be. So one way you can do that is go to yourhappyscore.com, get your Happy Score quiz, and then your email will automatically be put into my database. So when I send out those deals and the precursor to those deals, you'll be on the list and you'll know what to look out for and when. So go to yourhappyscore.com, take the quiz, get on the email list, and keep an eye out for those awesome Happiness Abound deals, because I'm so excited to be able to share all the awesome resources that I have with you at amazing prices to help you discover and remember that you are happiness abound. So that is the first update. So let's go into, and I might share a few more throughout the episode today, but that's the biggest one. I want to make sure you're on the list, make sure that you get access to those resources and those incredible bundles of awesomeness. So that said, today's episode is super important, near and dear to my heart. And this is the concept and idea of, are you worthy for happiness? Are you worthy of happiness? And this is something that I personally struggled with a lot. It's this idea that, first off, you've heard me talk about the expectations of happiness, right? We all think that happiness is natural, where the desire for happiness is natural. The ability for happiness can be a learned skill. So that puts it back into our court, right? Which is awesome. That's not what this is about. This is about when you have an understanding that, yes, I have a desire to be happy. Yes, it can be a learned skill. I can experience happiness every day through my habits, but you hit a roadblock. And that roadblock being, am I worthy of happiness? Now, this is going to get a little deeper than I normally get, but I think it's important for you to know. It's important to understand all the pieces coming into place. You're like, yep, I can be happier. I can do it through my habits. I can do all of these things. And then you're hitting a roadblock. It usually means you're feeling shame or guilt about a situation or several situations, and you don't believe you are worthy of happiness. Which, first off, is just heartbreaking. Everyone deserves happiness in their life. Doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, who you were. And I'm going to really lean in there on who you were. Because if you're listening or watching this podcast episode, you are investing in your personal development, which means you are developing yourself. You are growing. You are learning. You are changing your life in a positive, informative, and happier way, which means that you are not the person that you once were. And even if you did something absolutely terrible, there's still an opportunity, there's still a chance for redemption and the forgiveness. But to come back to the topic of this episode, there's still a chance that you can be happy and you can deserve to be happy. And I think that's a big hiccup for a lot of us. Like I said, it was for me. I had all the pieces in place, but was I worthy of happiness? Did I feel like the things I'd done in my life allowed me to be happier when I saw other people and they're good people and I just did some stuff when I was younger that maybe wasn't the best, and so maybe I don't deserve to be happy. Maybe I'm not worthy of happiness. And for me, like looking back, it was small things. But for years, funny. So when I was 15, I went against my parents' wishes for about a year, and I dated someone behind their back. And about every 3 months, we'd get caught, found out that we were dating. I would get in trouble more privacy and things would be stripped away, as you would expect. And I pretty much lied to my parents for over a year. I cannot even begin to tell you how guilty I felt when everything kind of settled on that. And for a long time, I felt like I didn't deserve to be happy because I had made my parents so miserable. Now, that story actually turns out really interesting because that person that I dated when I was 15 that my parents didn't like is now my husband, who they do like. So it kind of all worked out, but that didn't change the fact that I lied to them for a year and I internalized that. So when I started on my happiness journey and I figured out I don't want to be angry all the time, I don't want to feel this fear and this vulnerability, I don't want to feel the shame and the guilt anymore, I want to work through this. I realized that happiness is something I could learn. I realized I could put it into habit, but I got hung up on, did I deserve to be happy? And this isn't the kind of thing that you ask yourself just like, maybe I feel like I don't deserve it. No, this is the kind of thing like you have to listen to a podcast or something else or have like a deep dive into personal development to be able to be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And so that's why I'm bringing this up today, because if you are doing all the things that you know you can be doing to help you be happier and you feel like you're hitting a roadblock and it feels like it's just outside of that range and you're not quite sure, asking yourself, am I worthy of happiness, can open up those doors. Now, I want to be very clear. When you ask yourself that question, the answer is always yes. Always yes. But you can come back from that and say, well, why don't I feel like I'm worthy? And that's when you'll start to uncover the stories. So in my case, I felt shame, I felt guilt. I didn't feel like I deserved to be happy because I'd made my parents so miserable for so long. Now, granted, they'd forgiven me. I hadn't forgiven myself. And it's even more interesting because in my own life here, like I have a good relationship with my parents. And I would still like, if they asked for anything, I would jump. Like, okay, yep, I'll get it right on it because I felt like I had to prove that I'm a good kid. I'm not that person anymore. And it even crossed over to my husband, where if my dad would reach out to my husband and say, hey, can you do this? Or what do you think on this? And if my husband was like, oh yeah, your dad texted me. I'm like, did you text him back? He's like, well, no, I haven't gotten to it. I'm like, you need to text him back. I don't want him to think that like you're not paying attention or, you know, all this stuff. And it was like, I was trying to manage this perception and trying to outgrow and outwork the guilt that I had. The guilt that made me feel like I wasn't worthy of happiness. Now, that's just my situation. There may be other things that lean into this idea and this concept of maybe why you're feeling like you may not be worthy. And you're going to have to find a way to work through that. And if you'd like, that's the kind of thing that we can hop on a call, we can do through mentoring and all those other pieces. But for me, I actually had a conversation with my parents. And I called my mom and I said, I need to know things are okay. She's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I gotta be honest with you. I feel guilty about what I did when I was 15. And I'm really sorry for it. And I constantly feel like I can't really step into this family relationship as an adult because I feel like I'm constantly paying for what I did then. And that's not something my parents ever put on me. They forgave me, they loved me, but I was putting it on myself. So I had that conversation with my mom. My mom's like, no, man, it's like, it's totally fine. Like, we're all good. Yeah, it was a rough time, but that's okay now. And that allowed me to see that I didn't have to keep on making up for something that I did. And that allowed me to see that I was always worthy of happiness, but I had to work through that block to be able to see the other side and then step more fully into my happiness and more fully into remembering that I was capable of happiness in my life. So I wanted to talk about that today because honestly, if you feel like I'm just doing all the things and I just keep on backsliding, or I go to TV and all these other things and I can't seem to get it together, I want you to take a breath. Realize that you are getting it together. Take a look at your life previous and be like, yeah, I've actually grown a lot, because I guarantee you have. But then also ask yourself, am I worthy of happiness? Knowing that the answer is yes, but asking then, why do I feel that I'm not worthy of happiness? Why don't I deserve happiness? And that will get the gears moving. Your brain will answer that question. And you can then work on the process of forgiving yourself, forgiving others, whatever that may be, to then loosen up all those emotions in your body, loosen up all those emotions that are blocking you from happiness so that you can then step into happiness more fully. So that's what I have for you today. The second thing that I want to tell you that I was excited about is that No Netflix November is well underway. We are a couple weeks in and it is amazing. The types of engagement that we're getting, the questions, the amount that the team and the community members are getting done by not watching TV, not doing a lot of time in games, not spending time ever scrolling, emotionally numbing actions is phenomenal. People in the group are getting so much done. So if you're like, I really want to check that out, go to Happiness Abounders on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/happinessabounders. Join it for free and get in. You don't have to worry about the first couple weeks. You could jump in right now and get in on No Netflix November because it is amazing. It is a game changer and I want you to be a part of it. So that said, go to yourhappyscore.com. Go to get your happy score. That will get you into my email list so you can be aware of all the cool Black Friday week deals that are going on regarding the happiness products, right? The happiness about services, the courses, the classes, the ebooks, the clubs and communities that you can join, like all of it. So amazing, so fantastic. So excited for you to check it out. So yourhappyscore.com, that will get you into the email system and I can email those to you directly. That said too, go to Happiness Abounders. After you go to yourhappyscore.com, go to Happiness Abounders, the community on Facebook. Join us for No Netflix November and do those things and you'll be well set as we go through the rest of the month. But also be sure to ask yourself why you think you're not worthy of happiness and what you can do to change that. So that said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that this episode was thought-provoking. If you liked it, please share it with a friend, share it to your community, and comment on Instagram or Facebook. I share it there as well. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. I would love to hear from you. So have a great day. And remember, you are capable of happiness abound.